Hi, Colin. Just subject to the discussion we had earlier, just to cover a few points. We can see as we're coming into impact, the tendency is to sort of drift back slightly from those red lines. We do keep inclined to the ball at that point, but we tend to just come up a little bit after impact, and that follow through is looking a little bit wrapped round considering the things that we're working on. The other thing we notice is that the line I've drawn up behind your backside at setup, as we start into the downswing, we tend to move in towards it a little bit, or in away from it, should I say, a little bit. We can see here now at P6 the club head is slightly behind the hands, hips are very square, and from there it's very difficult to hit across it. We're going to see there again coming into impact, slightly shut off with the shoulders, hips moving in towards the golf ball, and then a flip as we come through with the arms staying very much out in front of us. And then until about P8 the hips then start to re-rotate, and you can see into the follow through the left hip is in from the line that we were talking about that was up behind your butt at setup. If we look at it from face on, we can see again that we make a pretty centered backswing. That's good there. Then the first move down tends to be a slide, followed by the hips pretty much stop. When the hips stop, the arms pass the body. It's very difficult to keep leading with the handle. Club head's going to pass the hands, and then from now on the hips, still doing very little, begin to clear. Left foot spinning out, right knee kicking in. So really it's the hip action that's going to help you here, Cole. We've got to get this feeling that the hips are clearing to the maximum amount and moving forward. So continuously clearing and moving forward. Now if we're clearing properly, when we get to this position now, forward will actually be towards your golf bag that you've got behind you. So the forward movement is in relation to the location of the hips at any given point. It's not always in regards to the target. So as we then continue through, we look at it from down the line. So forward now would be towards the golf bag in that direction. As you then continue to clear, the forward movement of your hips would actually be in this direction, which would give you a little bit more right tilt. So the forward movement as you're coming down from P4 to P5 and P6 gives you the spine tilt that we see here, and then the forward movement from P6, if you will, or P7 onwards is giving us the right tilt that we see here from down the target line. Now you do a pretty good job of maintaining your inclination up to that point, but it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors really, because you tend to do it by manipulating the legs a little bit, and you can see there as you're coming through, that right shoulder lifts up and we find it difficult then to stay inclined. If we take a little look at Charlie Wee from down the line, we tend to see a slightly different move. What we're going to see here with Charlie Wee is a continuous clearance and forward movement during the downswing. So if we stop him now at P6, you can see the club head in line with the hands instead of what we see with yourself, which is the club head slightly behind your hands. We're a little bit more shut off with the shoulders and the hips. You can see here Charlie Wee's got a much better clearance of the hips, much more chest onto the golf ball, which is a sign that he's rotating more whilst moving forward. So with yourself it's just been a little bit of a move forward without much of a clearance. Now as you come through, quite flat footed. If we look at Charlie Wee as we get to P7, much more open with the hips, still inclined to the ground, because the forward movement now is in this direction, keeping him inclined. And then as he continues through, you can see there at about P8, P9, he's got a full clearance of his hips, maximum linear movement, so his hips have now moved in this direction, keeping him down. Whereas if we look at yourself, linear movement stops, there is a clearance, but your hips are actually working more this way because we've come away from the line that was at your butt. So ideally we'd like to see the hips a little bit more moving forward for longer, but think in terms of maximum clearance, maximum right tilt in order to get that. That's going to give you that much lower finish, like we see here with Charlie Wee. Maybe I can tell a little bit if he's taking a bit off that shot, but you get the idea. Good luck with it, speak soon, and feel free to get in touch at any point.